Got a different one here for you today. There's been plenty in the comments and questions, especially on Instagram and on my DMs and stuff. People asking about electric trucks. You know, how close are they? Are they going to take over? Take over, sure, one day. I don't know if we'll be able to see a takeover, like a complete takeover in our lifetime. Maybe not. I know they're out there. The e-Cascadia's out there, the day cab. If you go on their website, you can see. I know when they introduced it back in 2018, they introduced the sleeper version. The sleeper version, from what I saw, was a little bit weird to me because I saw a very long truck, much longer than what the Cascadia actually is. So I don't know if that's due to, you know, the weight distribution, because the battery packs are so heavy, and they were finding out that if they took the weight up there as far as the load, they couldn't scale the steer axle. I don't know. That's really the only thing that makes sense to me, but I could be wrong. Cascadia, they're advertising as a 360 horsepower to 500 horsepower. The sleeper that I found when they introduced the prototype, they said 730 horsepower. So I don't know if it's going to be a version of that or not. What I can't find is the weight. I cannot find the empty weight of this truck anywhere. You know, as far as everything together, right? You know, they gotta have motors driving everything. They gotta have accessory systems in place to run air conditioning, and you know, obviously semi trucks are air brakes, so they gotta have some kind of a compressor. So all of this stuff together, I don't even know what's supposed to weigh. I can't find anything. So you know, with the dry van and one of these newer trucks, they're so light that you could probably scale 46,000 pounds. You know, meaning that's your payload is 46,000 pounds. And I don't even know what these trucks are going to weigh. So is the payload going to be more? Is the payload going to be less? Like, are you going to be able to carry that weight, or you can't get anything over 38,000 pounds or 35,000 pounds? I don't know that question, honest to God. And that's the one thing that's kind of irritating me a little bit, is they're coming out here and giving you all this, you know, future shit, but there's really not that much information out there. Now, part of that could be because, you know, this is how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Think about a AA battery. A AA battery has been the same size since it came out, that I know of anyway. But what a AA battery used to last when it first came out to what it lasts now, it's much, much different. So they figured out a way to punch more energy, more electrical energy, more battery power in that AA battery now than they did way back when. So maybe that's why they're you know, holding the empty weight, is because maybe that they're thinking that as you know, technology evolves, they'll find a way to have the same power that they're advertising, but with less battery packs on it, just as evolution itself, right? Maybe they're thinking of coming up with new ideas. Maybe that's it, or maybe because it's so bad that they don't want people to know. But obviously, to make a final sale, people are going to have to know that. At least I would want to know that. But what I also want to know is the final price. I can't find it anywhere. There's information out there that the batteries alone required to power a truck like the Tesla, for example, are anywhere between $160,000 to $200,000. It's just the battery packs themselves. So that's another thing that I don't know. The Cascadia has a 250-mile range and has the capability to get recharged, 80% recharged in 90 minutes. which, you know, would be great if you use it as a local truck. I understand that, but the way that they're pitching it is for local stuff and intermodal stuff. Intermodal, for a lot of you guys that don't know, is container work. For my brothers and sisters that do work out here in Detroit, you know damn well ain't nobody gonna friggin' spend as much money as one of these electric trucks are gonna cost to go to NS and CSX and get the sons of bitches dirty. So I don't know which some bitch decided this was a good idea to pitch into intermodal stuff. They clearly never been out here in Michigan. Or people in Chicago, Global 1, Global 2. I don't know if it's the, you know, the same way that it used to be when I did it, but holy shit. I wouldn't go there with a $5,000 truck, let alone a $200,000 plus truck, you know. And then as far as the Tesla trucks, I don't know. I know they're advertising a 500-mile version and a 300-mile version. I don't know what the final price of those is going to be as well, and I can't find a weight. Just like the Freightliner. And it could be, again, you know, from what I said earlier, that they're hoping as technology gets better, the weight will get lighter from the same, you know, battery power. But as of now, though, they don't have that out there. Now, the Tesla truck, although I haven't seen it out there personally, I know it's out there being, you know, real world tested. There's videos out of them trucks going around. But as far as I know, the range that the advertising, it's on a flat ground. So, and at 65 mile an hour. I don't know what happens. Well, I know what happens when you got to take it up a mountain. You're gonna waste more battery juice, obviously. But what I don't know is, I know they're gonna have some sort of a brake recovery system where they can take the kinetic energy, which is heat energy that's generated by the brakes, and convert that back into electricity and put that back in the battery packs. So I don't know if that system itself is going to be recovering the same amount that you're going to have to waste extra by going up a mountain when you go down and using brakes and so on and so forth. Maybe it's able to take, I mean, it's going to take some of that and put it back in the pack, but I don't know if it's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. Or I don't even know what the ratio is going to be. Let's say, so if you wasted, you know, 10% more battery by going down the hill, are you going to recover 5%, 2%, 10%, 12%? I don't know. So, you know, what do you do for those guys then? The guys that run the West Coast lanes. You know, what about the guys out there that have 80 mile an hour plus speed limits? You know, an owner-operator is not going to get their truck if they got to do 65 mile an hour. Not that I would think. I wouldn't. So here's what I see the most, I think, problematic question that, unless they answer, people aren't going to go for, is I don't know what the life expectancy of that truck is going to be. And as of now, I couldn't find any information out there. Also, what is it going to cost to replace the battery pack when it goes bad? We do know it goes bad because of the cars. You have to replace them every so often. And on the price of the cars, the battery packs are very expensive. So I don't know what that cost is going to be on trucks. Where a diesel engine, I know, generally speaking, you're going to take anywhere between 750 to 1,000,000 miles, maybe a little bit more, and then that truck is going to have to be rebuilt, or that engine is going to have to be rebuilt. You got maintenance and stuff that obviously goes wrong because of that, or because of just work hours. Everything has working hours. So you can generally know what a truck is going to cost you. Now they're saying, you know, the operating cost of these electrical trucks is going to be much, much less. I guess TBD. You know, that's what they think. Obviously, there's a lot of clever people out there calculating this stuff and plugging in all kinds of different algorithms, but unless you test it in the real world, I simply won't believe them. Problem when you got prototypes like this and visions like this, it takes a lot of balls, and I think Elon Musk, has a lot of them when it comes to various things that he's done. And people told him that they couldn't do it on the cars either, and there goes, the cars are out there. But with the trucks, it's a little bit different, I think. It's very, very expensive, at least what I think. There's still no final price. They think it's going to cost this, that, and the other, and I don't even know if that was, before pandemic pricing or what, with inflation now and how bad it is, how bad is that price going to be? I don't know. But also, what's the price of the battery replacement? Not only how long are they going to last, but how much is it going to cost to replace them? Is it going to be 10 grand? Is it going to be 20 grand? Is it going to be 40, 50, 60, 100? Where I know for an engine rebuild, depending on the engine, you're going to spend anywhere between 15 to, let's take the worst case scenario, $45,000. And I know people that have spent that much, but they've gotten brand new Volvo crate engines for that price, and they put them in their trucks. So where that information is out there for fuel trucks, it's not out there for electric trucks. Another main issue that I see is infrastructure. Maybe I'm blind. It's not like I spent a lot of times at truck stops, as you guys know, but I haven't seen a charging station at truck stops. Where are you supposed to charge them? Is it only going to be for big companies that have hubs within a certain amount of miles, and they're charging these trucks at their hubs? Or where is it? Tesla, they say that the supercharge is 30 minutes up to 80%, which is great because that's a very short amount of time. But how many times can you do that? Can you do that 10 times before you have to charge it fully at night? Can you do it 20? Can you do it 5? How much life is it taken out of the battery by charging it that fast? Is it speeding up the dying process of the battery? Or is it not affecting it? And if it's speeding it up, by how much? So is it worth it? These are all answers that they have these are all questions, they have to answer at some point. I know they've gotten orders in from the major, companies. And obviously, these kind of prototypes, they cost a lot of money. And you got to pitch it a certain way to be able to get, funding and be able to get backers. And if they come out and they say, okay, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly, as much as I would love for people to do business like that, it's just simply not going to happen. At the end of the day, they got to protect their ass and protect their investment. Everybody says that it's for the better of the planet, and that could be it. The problem is it going to be financially feasible? Because you have to build all this stuff. The trucks themselves are going to cost a lot of money. The infrastructure to put in place is going to cost a lot of money. And I don't even know what that price is going to be. Also, what happens to the battery packs after it gets after it dies? How expensive is it to be able to dispose of that properly? Now, know, it could be argued that no price is bad enough, meaning high enough to let the planet go to waste. And I agree with that 100%. But there's going to have to come a point where, you know, we have to make a decision of, hey, this stuff is going to cost X amount of money to get going, and X amount of money to put up, and X amount of money to maintain. That is it going to be, you know, financially feasible? Also, most of the power now, electricity, comes from coal. So yeah, you're not burning diesel and polluting, but the way that you're making electricity, you're polluting. So now you're going to have to bump that up if all these electric trucks go out. I'm not an electrical engineer, I have no idea how this shit works, but common sense only tells me that, well, hell, if there's more electricity being consumed, you got to make more electricity. So, I don't know. I'm a skeptic for a lot of things. I wish them a lot of luck, and I wish they get it, you know, done, and I wish they get it sorted as soon as possible. Like I said, I drive one. I would. I really would. As much as I love these old engines and the noises and everything else, I'll still drive one. Now, the one thing I saw with the Tesla truck, at least the prototype, it's a center sitting position for the driver. That's a little weird to me, because how the hell are you going to back into a dock? It's a lot easier to stick your head out the window, and you're not doing it with that truck. Also, if you're running two lanes and you got to pass somebody, another truck, how are you going to see in front? You know, you're able to see now because both of you are on the same side of the road, and you can kind of ease into the middle and kind of peek and see if there's enough clearance in front to overtake somebody. You know, how do you do it if you're sitting in the center of the truck? I don't know. And then the other question that a lot of people have is autonomous trucks. Yeah, I don't think we're close to that. I believe the Port of Amsterdam has a completely autonomous system to load and unload the container ship, and also bring chassis so they can load containers onto them, and then truck drivers come in, hook up to them, and make the final delivery. But as far as it being out on the road, that's a lot that can go wrong, man. You're still gonna need a driver behind, you know, in case something happens. There's also construction in roads. There's also idiot drivers. Airplanes have had the capability to land themselves now for a long, long time. I don't see them going and then hauling passengers around without pilots. So if they can't do that on planes, I don't see it happening on cars anytime soon. Not on public roads anyway. You know, like a port like Amsterdam, where it's a confined space, so to speak, because it's only, you know, confined to a certain area. Maybe it's easy to do, but real world, I don't know. I don't know what needs to be out there. Maybe there's going to be some form of automation, an autopilot system of some sort, but I don't see the driver, you know, being out of the truck and the truck going down a public road by itself. at a mass level anyway, not in my lifetime. I think the expense of that and the liability alone, I don't think it's going to be worth the money. You know, obviously we live in a society nowadays where everybody's freaking sue happy about everything. So I'm sure before they have something like that in place, they'll gotta have the who's who of freaking lawyers try to come up together and sort the freaking legal shit out the way before they can, you know, really get going on making it happen, so to speak. Or at least that's how I see it. I could be completely wrong, which I am most of the time. So for me personally, to be able to make a decision on whether I want to spend that kind of money on that kind of a truck, even if they sort the infrastructure issue of where the charging ports are going to be, how many, how much, that sort of thing, my number one question would be, what's the life expectancy of those batteries, and how much am I going to have to dish out to replace them? Is it going to be a whole new truck, or is it going to be equivalent to a, you know, diesel engine rebuild? Now, because, you know, they say there's going to be less maintenance on this because there's less moving parts, and yes, that's true. You know, even the motors that drive things, whether it be differentials or independent wheels, they're going to have motors in them with brushes and all kinds of shit like that to make them move. You know, how long do they last? Is there going to have to be, you know, maintenance on those every so often? How much is that going to cost? Now, if you were to take a diesel truck and an electric truck, and you're able to tell me that, hey, as far as the life expectancy of the truck, you're going to be able to save, you know, 50%, yeah, maybe I'll believe you. But you're going to have to all like sit down and give me all those answers. What preventative maintenance I got to do? How much is it going to be around anyway? How many facilities are going to be out there to be able to work on these things? And that sort of thing. Unless, you know, those are answered, I can't take that chance. I simply can't. That's how people go out of business. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. And just really what I think about all this stuff. You know, obviously it could be right, could be wrong, who knows. These are my questions, and I would honestly, you know, love to hear what you guys just think as far as what your opinion is. Leave it in the comments below, and any questions you have about it that I didn't cover. You know, obviously this is just the stuff that I think about, but doesn't mean that that's all the questions out there. As always, you guys, thank you so much for your support. Honest to God, thank you. I can't say thank you enough, and honestly I cannot, like, I don't have the words in my vocabulary to like express to you guys how grateful I am for the support that you guys give me. Thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have the best day with your families. I'll make at least another video before New Year's, but I'll see you guys on the next one.